Yo, 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 what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so let's do a sound check real quick. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys are not able to hear me, or if the visual presentation is not looking up to par, then give me a thumbs down or an angry face. All right. I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early. We got Brooklyn Queen in the house. Shout out to you. We got Hurricane IQ in the building. Shout out to you, Hurricane IQ. We got Miss Nisi in the house. Shout out to you, Miss Nisi. We got Jerry Bedford. We got Hurricane IQ, and we got OG Jet Black. Shout out to all of y'all, man. Good to see each and every one of you guys. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to ask a few questions like we always do, and then we're going to talk about some interesting things. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many social media platforms and how many mainstream media platforms allow hate speech? If you guys can name any, give me the names of them. There are some out there, but I just have this assumption that you all don't know who they are. You know what I'm saying? But as far as mainstream, let me know the mainstream social media and mainstream media outlets that allow permissible hate speech. Shout out to Black Loki. Black Loki says all. Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know what I'm saying? Here's the next question. If you decide to go in front of a bunch of people and say a bunch of things, are you giving those people the green light to say those exact same things? Let me know what you guys think. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Let's just say Charles Barkley was of a different ethnicity, and he decided to go and say that he was going to punch a bunch of other people in the face based on their ethnicity. Do you think that he'd be cheered on and applauded and given a platform by white media outlets? If you guys think that he would, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that he would, then give me a thumbs down. The first thing that we have to ask is, what all negative things has Charles Barkley said about black people over the years? I need everybody to put in the comment section everything that Charles Barkley has said negative about black people over the years. And here's my question. What has anybody done about it? Why does everybody just allow Charles Barkley to sit there and say this nonsense? All of the people who are supposed to be the warriors, all of the people who are supposed to be fighting, all of the people that got so much power. If you got power like that, why haven't you shut Charles Barkley up yet? See, the thing is that as much as people scream on social media, all of the stuff that they scream about is still going on. Nobody's muscling this stuff out of the door. Yeah, black on black crime stance. We're most homophobic. Facts, according to Charles Barkley. So now Charles Barkley has gone on to say, well, I'm going to let you guys listen to it yourself.
And you know who embraced more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts.
When you heard that, what did you think? Big sigh.
First of all, I'm just going to.
That big sigh that Charles Barkley just made wasn't a big sigh in all of his comments that he gaslit, all of the anti-black nonsense that Charles Barkley has done to give people like Donald Trump a pass. And this is what I'm talking about being a pro-black coon. If you want to hear people talk crazy about black people, all you got to do is listen to pro-blacks or Fox News. All throughout the years, there's been nothing different between what Charles Barkley and what Trump said about black people. We got the receipts right here. Black on black crime stance. We're the most homophobic. Let me ask you guys this question. What's Charles Barkley's stance on reparations? Does he have one? Does he have one? So the thing that I find interesting about this is that he's sighing, but he's not sighing in frustration with himself after giving Donald Trump and other people who aren't black the green light to say these kind of stuff, to say these kind of things, and then turn around and say, well, even Charles Barkley said it. And this is the accountability allergy that I'm talking about. This is the kind of accountability allergy that I'm talking about. It's one of the reasons why people don't like my content. And I don't care. What has anybody done to shut Charles Barkley up? Nothing. Shout out to Carlton Wade. What's good with it, bro? Nothing.
Big sigh.
First of
Big
all,
sigh.
I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
Now Charles is gonna CNN platformed Charles Barkley to speak violent threats against black people wearing a wearing a Donald Trump mugshot. CNN platformed Charles Barkley to speak violent threats against black people wearing Trump mugshot shirts. Now, here's the thing, right? You gonna catch me wearing a Trump mugshot shirt? No. You gonna catch me wearing Trump shoes? No. But if somebody, for whatever reason, decides to wear that, Charles Barkley is allowed to direct violent threats towards those people, and CNN gives him a platform to do it, and everybody stays silent on it. This is that bullshit that I'm talking about. None of these motherfuckers are real. The issue behind this is the white media allowing a violent threat against any group of black people. But the right thing to do is, if it's not the group of black people that makes everybody feel good, you know what I'm saying, then you just don't say anything about it. I'll turn my head and act like I didn't see this shit, man. Fuck that shit. The fuck is wrong with motherfuckers, man? Seriously, what the actual fuck is wrong with motherfuckers? I can't stand by and motherfucking act like I'm a part of this fake ass bullshit no more, man. I'm gonna tell you one thing. Anybody that allows threats of violence against anybody and turns their hands and turns their heads against it, you fake as fuck. And the fact that people ain't calling Charles Barkley out for the fact that over his entire career, Charles Barkley has literally used white media infrastructure to say the same bullshit that Trump has been saying. Fake as fuck. Shout out to DSB. What's good with it, bro? Shout out to Black Loki. I disagree. I respectfully disagree, bro. The majority knows a lot about a lot of things. And if you mention it to the majority, everybody will say that they know about it. But then nobody will say shit about it. Because motherfuckers had a pre-planned issues that they want to talk about. And if it's not an issue that's part of the pre-planned program and that shit don't fit the narrative, then it just goes unaddressed. It just goes unaddressed. I'm not wired that way. I can't be fake. Shout out to Cameron Jones. What's good with it, bro? I'm not wired that way. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Carla Lockhart. Now, here's my question. Why isn't anybody suing CNN for allowing Charles Barkley to make a violent blanket threat against black people? Let me ask you guys a question. If you said what Charles Barkley just said against any other group of people, would that be within community guidelines on YouTube, or would that be against community guidelines on YouTube? I'm gonna run it again. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys being here. If you guys haven't smashed the like button, please take a moment, smash the like button. If you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit the bell and subscribe. And also please share the stream to your social media.
And You know who embraced more than anybody else? The black population. It's incredible. You see black people walk.
Now, we know Trump is sitting here talking a bunch of nonsense. This is bullshit. The majority of the black population are not criminals. The majority of the black population cannot relate to a mugshot. But all you got to do is listen to a bunch of black content creators, and they say the exact same shit that Trump just said. Right? They'll, in one instance, say the same thing, and then in another instance, turn around and be outraged when somebody else says it, knowing that they just opened up the door for this person to be able to say it. And nobody holds these clowns accountable for this shit. Yeah, I got to agree. Shout out to Carlton Way. If you guys agree with Carlton Way, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, then give me a thumbs down. Now, let me ask you guys this question. How many times has this bobblehead bum ever gotten on a mainstream media platform and actually said anything good about black people? Matter of fact, when has anybody ever gotten on a mainstream media platform and said anything good about black people? Let's not just restrict it to Charles. Let's restrict it to everybody. Let me ask you guys this question. Is it because these self-hating, degenerate pieces of trash don't believe that there's anything good that they can find to say about themselves? Or do you think it's because they've been given directives to not say good things? They've been given directives to not challenge the white mainstream media narrative. Which one? Shout out to my man Mike Nice and shout out to Jay Cage. What's good with y'all? Think about this, man. Let me ask y'all this. I want y'all to replace black with any other group of people. If you do, let me know what would have happened to Charles Barkley for saying this on CNN. And also, what should happen to CNN? Shout out to John Davis. What's good with you, bro? What should happen to CNN for allowing this? You know what I'm saying?
Walking around with my mugshot. You know, they do shirts.
When you heard that,
Now, all of the detractors will sit there and say that, oh, listen to Robb. He's sitting up there caping for Trump. He's sitting up there caping for Trump. If you think that I'm sitting up here caping for Trump, then that just shows your ignorance to the type of content that I make. You know what I'm saying? So people can take and do whatever they want to with their little clips and their little sound bites and their little shares and pass arounds and all that bullshit, right? But my question for you guys is, I'm not talking about Trump. I already did my video where we roasted Trump about them ignorant ass comments that he made. My issue with CNN is CNN platforming violent hate speech against black people. Because Charles Barkley, he'll just walk right past a Mexican, according to this, that has a Trump mugshot on. Charles Barkley will walk right past a white person that has a Trump mugshot on. He'll walk right past a migrant with a Trump mugshot on. But he's going to specifically target violence toward a black person wearing that. Where would that be allowed at anywhere else? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Miss Nisi with the $10 super chat. Make sure y'all show her some love. Throw some flames, radiation emoji, ducks in the chat. Definitely appreciate you, Miss Nisi. Think about this, y'all. Shout out to Black Polo O. Black Polo O says, what's funny is people really listen to his opinion. They really do. That's why CNN paid him millions of dollars to go on there, and I didn't get paid anything to go anywhere and say anything. I got paid $10 from Miss Nisi and whatever AdSense I get. Because clearly, there's more financial rewards to having an opinion like Charles Barkley, and there's less consequence to having an opinion like Charles Barkley than there is to having one like mine. Now, here's my question. Who's responsible for building the armory behind that? You know what I'm saying? And that's big facts. All you got to do is just step on his feet and he's done. He's done. But look at how he takes no accountability for giving the pass to the white media and white people to say the same stuff that he does. How many people do y'all hear talk like Charles Barkley on YouTube on a daily basis, talking crazy about black people? You know what's crazy? All those people on YouTube that talk crazy about black people, they never mention any of those familicide stories from the suburbs. They never mention little Timmy having daddy's head in a trash bag. They never mention any of that. Why do you guys think that is? Shout out to David Brown. What's good with it, bro? Why y'all think that is?
What did you think? Big sigh.
First of
Big
all,
sigh.
I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face.
Charles.
I know, Gayle.
Charles.
Now you listen, everybody thinks that is funny. Everybody thinks that is funny. Now, do you think that if he had said this about Jays, that Greenblatt from the ADL would have thought that it was funny? They would have had this clown running around on an apology tour, tooting up, begging for a paycheck. And Gayle King facilitated this because Gayle King is the exact same. Gayle King is the exact same. She's no different. Yeah, exactly, DSB. Facts. Charles Barkley might not know the laws, but if you come up to the wrong person, and a lot of them black Trump supporters that wear them Trump mugshots, a lot of them people with Second Amendment freaks. You might actually get your balloon head deflated. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. I appreciate you, Black Polo O. Why? Here's my question. There should be a class action lawsuit, not only against CNN, against Charles Barkley, against the NBA, and against Gayle King for allowing, facilitating, and making lightly of violent threats against black people from Charles Barkley. Let me, again, what if Charles Barkley had said, oh, if somebody comes out of a tunnel and I'm walking through New York City, I'm kicking them right in their teeth. What do you guys think would have happened? Facts. Not only do we need a crime bill to protect us against this clown, but we also need a crime bill to protect us from the state-sanctioned media, which the state-sanctioned media allowed hate speech to be spoken against us. The CNN, which is the state-sanctioned media of the United States government, the secondary digital press secretary of Joe Biden, allowed Charles Barkley on their platform to issue out violent threats. So let me ask you guys a question. If a Proud Boy or one of them people decide to just walk up and bust a black person in the head with a Trump shirt on, is Charles Barkley going to give them a couple bucks for doing his job for him? What's going to happen with that? What's going to happen with that?
Gayle,
You really can't say that because you don't mean that.
I mean that sincerely.
He means it sincerely. All right. So what this means is that he truly intends violence on any black person that he sees wearing a Trump shirt. Now, again, this isn't me telling people, oh, I'll go promote Trump and wear a Trump shirt. What I'm showing you is the allowing of the mainstream media to facilitate hate speech and violence against black people. Now, this video clip is on Twitter. Elon Musk, racist, apartheid descendant ass, didn't do anything to remove it, right? Also, that CNN posted this video on YouTube. You think that they took it down for violence? Nope. Matter of fact, it's probably a majority of conservative black people who would be wearing these type of Trump shirts like this. You think any of those dingbat, empty-headed, no-brain morons decided to make a video about it? You think Greg Foreman decided to scrunch his face up like a raisin taking a shit, put it on the thumbnail of a video and make any videos about it? Nope, because that don't go with his narrative either. Speaking of which, have you seen any conservative, any black conservative, any black conservative coon make a video about this talking about Charles Barkley? Nah, because Charles Barkley has said too much anti-black shit for them to have a problem with his dumb ass. Because when it comes to the black conservatives, that's all it's about is being anti-black, which is why you got to call Trump suspect when Trump will sit up there and tell Charlie Kirk to stop talking that shit. Charlie Kirk is just a white dude being white. If Trump actually wanted to be involved with black people, he would tell them coons like Officer Tatum, Greg Foreman, and Candace Owens to actually get some people to vote for him instead of focusing on non-suburban crime. You know what I'm saying? But you don't see none of that. And the reason why you don't see none of that is because the people too cowardly and the money is too good. And it's all right. It's all good. People should just keep it a buck and say that.
I'm gonna just tell you something.
And then you will be arrested for assault. And then what?
Not only should he be arrested for assault, if Charles Barkley or anybody attacks a black person wearing a Trump mugshot shirt, they should get charged for assault, right? And on top of it, they should get hit with a federal hate crime charge. And CNN and Gayle King should be named as the accomplices on a criminal charge and on a civil charge. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, again, shout out to everybody watching. I appreciate each and every one of y'all being here. We got 18 people watching and we got 23 likes. If everybody could take a moment, smash that like button, hit the bell, and also please share the stream to your social media. That'd be great.
I'm gonna bail myself out and go celebrate. If I
Well, the facts that he said that just now, that he's gonna bail himself out and go celebrate, again, he's already got a plan. He's already got a plan. So again, we got to ask ourselves the question, why is CNN platforming this? Second question, what's so funny about it to the audience? What's so funny about it to the audience? Here go my question, and shout out to Black Polo O for being a like enforcer. Make sure y'all throw some like enforcers in the chat. Here go my question, y'all. What's funny about it? What's funny about an ex-athlete saying that he's going to attack non-ex-athlete black people wearing Trump mugshot shirts? What's funny about that? What's funny about CNN giving him a huge platform of over 1 million people to issue this threat to, and to show that if you issue a violent threat against black people, the audience will just laugh? They didn't even say, ooh, you know how sometimes the studio audience does that? They didn't even do that. They thought the shit was funny. Let me ask y'all this question. How many of y'all think that that's funny? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to Hurricane IQ. Make sure y'all throw some flames, radiation emoji, ducks in the chat for Hurricane IQ with the $1.99 super chat. Appreciate it, bro. How many of y'all think that's funny? I know nobody in here thinks that's funny. I don't think that that's funny. How much do y'all think that he got paid for to do this? Because you know he didn't come on here for free.
Don't encourage him. Don't encourage him. Okay, but go ahead.
Seriously.
Continue.
First of all, if I was at
that conference, yeah.
I'd have got up and walked out. That was an insult to all black people.
Let me ask you guys this question. How many times have we been watching Charles Barkley and he made insults to all black people? Charles Barkley said that black people by nature are homophobic. Was that a compliment? Let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all took that as a compliment? Didn't Charles Barkley a couple times say that black people need to focus on black crime? If a minority of us are criminals and most of that minority is already either in jail, dead, or dealing with their crimes that they committed, why would the majority of us who don't commit crimes need to be focused on crime? Shout out to Cameron Jones. Yeah, Cameron Jones spat on a little girl. Maybe instead of acting out stereotypes, right? Maybe instead of facilitating non-black people to say stereotypes, maybe this obese, poor excuse for an athlete who never won a world title should actually think for himself and self-reflect on his own issues that he has. What y'all think? If y'all agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Because he's basically just saying, and first of all, to compare black history where we've been discriminated against to his plight.
Yes.
Well, first of all, he's a billionaire.
Charles Barkley said that we're homophobic by nature. Let me ask you guys this. Everything that Trump said about black people, did a coon not say it also? Did Charles Barkley not say it also? Charles Barkley, you are one of the people that galvanize those kind of people like Charles Barkley who make those kind of remarks. You're the one who puts the gas in their tank, you clown. Would you guys agree? Anytime white people push the envelope, in most cases, they always have a black person that they can fall back on and say, this person even said it. Charles, guess what? You're one of the this people even said it people. So you don't get to get outraged about that shit now. Now what gets to happen is you get to get flamed up because of all the times over the years where you facilitated people saying this dumbass shit.
And they're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. They're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. And for him to
It's still in the court system, Charles. We have to wait. It's still in the court system, but continue.
Well,
Continue.
Some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. They did say that.
Some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. This is Charles Barkley's logic. This is the purpose of the white media, to put an idiot on the TV to make it look like Charles Barkley is the normalized idea of a black man. That's his response to Gayle King saying it's still in the court system. Well, some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. What's that got to do with what she's talking about? What's that got to do with what she's talking about, guys? Somebody make this make sense.
Charles, we have to wait. It's still in the court system, but continue.
Well,
Continue.
some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. They did say that the election was stolen. Those aren't lies, Gayle.
I'll tell you why Gayle's laughing, Carla. Shout out to Carla. Carla said, why is Gayle laughing? Anytime there's a black man who is being publicly humiliated, our wonderful ally, Gayle King, always takes humor in it. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Our great Umar Johnson appointed ally, Gayle King, always finds great royal humor in it. Anytime a black man looks dumb as hell. But you know what she didn't think was funny? She didn't think it was funny when Soho Karen put her hands in her face and said, enough. Because she sure as hell sat her stupid ass there and didn't say shit else that time.
They did say that.
But to compare, I would have got up and walked out because it's not a fair comparison. You know, he's a billionaire.
You wouldn't have been there anyway. Why would you have been there? If you're not a black conservative, why would you have even been there? You didn't get no invitation and you don't follow that political ideology. Why would you have been there? Shout out to Jay Bird. What's good with it, bro?
Had a great life. He's been president of the United States. To insult black people who have been discriminated against all these years, to put them in the same category.
Hey, all this shit that Charles Barkley is saying, she was crickets. Y'all remember when Soho Karen checked Gayle King? If you remember when Soho Karen checked Gayle King, give me a thumbs up. If y'all don't remember that, go look it up.
I was just offended.
Yeah.
What was you offended about? Let me ask you all this question. Has Charles Barkley said about has Charles Barkley over his career said about the same amount of anti-black stuff publicly that Trump has? If you guys feel that he has, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't feel that he has, then give me a thumbs down. And again, why is there an athlete doing political analysis? Why is there an athlete talking about politics? When the last time y'all saw Yao Ming talking about Asian affairs? But what's crazy about this is that clueless white people will sit there and act as if black people contracted Charles Barkley to be our representative when they know that that's not how that goes. But they'll act like that. White people literally think that we voted Charles Barkley as our representative. Or either they put on the act that they think that we did. But then when you sit there and ask white people, well, what's up with Taylor Swift's position on voting and her endorsements of President Biden, they'll act like they have no idea what you're talking about while having a Twitter fit over it. Why is that? Here's another question. Why are they such cowards that they won't come and talk about it?
I mean,
So that's it. That's the end of Charles Barkley in his hate speech. Charles Barkley and his violent threats towards black people that everybody else in the United States cheered on. And that's absolutely what they did, is cheered it on. Because if they didn't say anything, if they didn't have an issue with it, then they didn't say anything. Now, let me ask you guys a question. What's worse? Kyrie Irving tweeting about the movie From Hebrews to Negroes, or Charles Barkley saying, I'm going to go harm black people that I see wearing these Trump shirts? Which one is more problematic? I would say the one that encourages violence. Now, the ADL claims to be this group. They're such a good-hearted group. They care so much about everybody. They care so much about cataloging everybody's plights. What's their statement on this? What's their statement on this? What is the ADL's position on CNN facilitating hate speech against black people? Violent hate speech against black people. And I got to do the thing that they do during a time where hate crimes against black people are at a historical high, because they are. Let me ask you guys this. Does the ADL's silence on CNN platforming Charles Barkley to issue violent threats against black people solidify the ADL's position of anti-blackness that they have? If it does, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't, give me a thumbs down. If this doesn't solidify the ADL's position of anti-blackness, I don't know what does. I don't know what does. Charles Barkley says he will punch any black person he sees wearing Donald Trump's mugshot. Now, mind you, he didn't say that he was going to roast him. He said he was going to punch him. He's going to hit him. He's an athlete. And then he reinforced it by saying that he was serious. Charles Barkley didn't mince his words when responding to Donald Trump's latest commentary on black people. The interesting thing is that he didn't issue any threats against against Donald Trump. He issued threats against black people. Does that make any sense? So Charles Barkley made these comments that offended you so badly, you're going to attack other black people. Sit back and let that digest for a minute. He's so outraged. He's so angry about what Trump said. He's so angry. He's so pissed off that he gonna just go beat up some black person. Make it make sense. Does that make any sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it doesn't make any sense, then give me a thumbs down. In a conversation with Gayle King, Barkley responded to remarks Trump made last week in South Carolina just before winning the Republican primary. The ex-president suggested that black people have taken a liking to him after getting arrested for attempting to overturn the 2020 presidential results in Georgia. When I did the mugshot in Atlanta, that mugshot is number one, Trump said at the Black Conservative Federation's annual honors gala. You know who embraced it more than anyone else? The black population. And again, where do you get statistics on claims like this? How do you verify these kind of things as fact? What metric, what statistics company measures which mugshot is number one? How do you get that information? Who's collecting that information? You know what I'm saying? Where are we getting those statistics from? Where are we getting the data for this from? You know what I'm saying? Barkley had a biting response for Trump. This wasn't a response for Trump, if you ask me. This was a response to black people. This wasn't a response to Trump. If Trump made these statements and you turn around and say, I'm going to punch black people, that's not a response to Trump. How is that a response to Trump? Shout out to Deneen. Right. The Gallup mugshot poll. Right. Who does that one? You know what I'm saying? Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to DSB with the 99-cent super chat. Make sure y'all show DSB some love. Throw some flames, radiation emoji in the chat for DSB. Seriously, I want people to break this down. Break this down for me. Charles Barkley is so angry. He's so offended by what Trump said. His response is he's going to attack the nearest black person with a Trump mugshot shirt on. Now, also, right, we got to call out all of these social media outlets that platforms Trump, because there's no way that you can find out who has the number one ranking mugshot. Who's the number one ranking mugshot this week? Does anybody know? Who has the number one mugshot this week? So how do we know any of this stuff? We don't. It's all nonsense. So this is what Charles Barkley goes on to say. First of all, I'm just going to say this. If I see a black person walking around with Trump's mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face, the NBA legend says. Now, here's my question. What does that do to stop Trump from making those kind of comments about black people? What does that do? What does that do to stop Trump? How does that stop Trump? What that should do is that should actually stop Charles Barkley from being on media platforms, is what that should do, because you shouldn't be allowed to get platformed issuing violent threats against a group of people based on their ethnicity, which is what he just did. Would you guys agree? When King pointed out that Barkley would get arrested for assault, he said, "I will bail myself out and then go celebrate," he said to Laughter, which means that there's no remorse. And that also means that he already has a plan constructed, which means that if he were in the presence of an individual wearing a Trump shirt with a mugshot on it, then he might actually act violently against that person. You know what I'm saying? If I was at that conference, I would have got up and walked out. That was an insult to all black people. Now, here's the thing. Why would you? So if you were at the conference where Trump was at, you would have got up and walked away. But outside of the conference, if you see any black people wearing a Trump mugshot shirt, you're going to attack them. You was right there in the conference with Trump. You could have went at Trump. So I want y'all to understand what Charles Barkley is saying here. He said if he was at, now mind you, right? Trump said this at the conference. So instead of going up on stage and doing to Trump what he's threatening to do to black people that wear the shirts, he would have got up and walked away, civil rights style. He would have got up and walked away. And if it was anybody in the parking lot that he walked past, he would have attacked them, while he just had an opportunity to do the same to the person that actually said it. He continued to compare black history we've been discriminated against to his plight. First of all, he's a billionaire and they're prosecuting him for stuff he did wrong. Well, some of the stuff is true. They did storm the Capitol. They say that they did say that the election was stolen. Those aren't lies, Gayle. He's had a great life. He's been the president of the United States. To insult black people who have been discriminated against all these years and put them in the same category, he added, "I was just offended." Listen, Charles Barkley said that black people were the most anti-LGBTQ group of people on the planet, and yet and still nobody called him LGBTQ while he was playing basketball. Nobody exposed Charles Barkley for tooting up. Everybody let that stay a secret while he was in the NBA. So how is anybody anti-LGBTQ? He's never been the victim of any LGBTQ violence or any LGBTQ propaganda. Now, here goes my question. How many people have you all heard criticizing Charles Barkley for these disgusting threats that he's made against black people that CNN platformed him for? Because CNN needs to be held to the fire for this as well, because CNN allowed it. CNN allowed it. Charles Barkley said Donald Trump's remarks were an insult to all black people. But now Charles Barkley doesn't reflect on any of his remarks that he said that are anti-black. Let me ask you guys this. Anytime you get somebody like Charles Barkley and they get on a white media platform to spread anti-black propaganda, are they being used as a vehicle to continue to say anti-black stuff? That's my question for you guys. What do you all think about that? So now here it says NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley is not a fan of former President Donald Trump, which I don't understand because they say the same thing. They believe the same stuff. And he's not a fan of any black person who is a fan of Trump. So again, I don't think any Trump supporters asked Charles Barkley to be a fan of them. I don't think there's no black Trump supporter that begged Charles Barkley to be their fan. I don't think that happened. Barkley addressed the latest comments by Trump during his weekly appearance on CNN with Gayle King. Again, here's my question for you guys. What purpose does Charles Barkley have on CNN? What value does Charles Barkley add to a program on CNN with Gayle King? Gayle King has been a longtime journalist, right? Despite the fact that I don't like her, she's deep in the career. You know what I'm saying? She does have a history of being a journalist. But what about Charles Barkley? Why is he on there? What's he going to do? How is he going to contribute? How is he going to add value to a CNN program? What is he going to discuss? Is he supposed to be CNN's Negro whisperer? What's going on there? What's up with that? Barkley responded to Trump saying blacks should embrace his mugshot. Trump made the comments at an event organized by the Black Conservative Federation. If I see a black person walking around with a Trump mugshot, I'm going to punch him in the face, Barkley said. I mean that sincerely. So if anybody gets punched in the face wearing a Trump mugshot, I would advise them the best course of action would be to sue Charles Barkley and CNN. Because that's where you would get the biggest paycheck from. That would be the biggest payout. They'd have to settle. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, the biggest amount of settlement dollars will come from CNN facilitating violence against black people through Charles Barkley and Gayle King. Give me a thumbs up. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says when King said Barkley would end up in jail if that happened, he refused to back down. In fact, he doubled down, which again means that he meant it. I will bail myself out and go celebrate, Barkley said. I would have got up and walked out. That was an insult to black people. So if he was in the presence of Trump, he would not have attacked Trump. If he was in the presence of Trump, he would have got his ass up, turned his punk ass around, and walked out of the building to attack the nearest black person wearing a Trump mugshot shirt. So now here it says Trump has feuded with various athletes, including LeBron James. James has often criticized Trump over the years. He once called Trump a bum and was critical of his supporters who stormed the Capitol building. Now, there's a difference between LeBron James criticizing Trump and a difference between Charles Barkley criticizing Trump. People can say that LeBron James is what LeBron James is, but I ain't really ever seen LeBron James go in on black people to the extent that Charles Barkley has. Charles Barkley has a career behind him of going in on black people. You know what I'm saying? A career of it. That's what he made his, that's what he's famous for. Let me ask y'all this. What's his famous accomplishments in the NBA? So now here it says we live in two Americas, and that was a prime example of that yesterday. James said of the reporters, if you don't understand or see that, then you need to take a step back, not just one step, but 4 or 5 or even 10 steps backwards. How do you want your kids or grandkids to live in this beautiful country? Because yesterday was not it. Trump has often responded to James, telling his supporters he isn't a fan of the NBA star. I'll say this to LeBron James, who I don't like very much. Trump once said during a speech, I'll say, LeBron, did you ever have the thoughts about going woman? Because if you did, I'd have you on my basketball team. So you know, there's Trump with that shit. All right. So now my question is, what do you guys think about this? Shame on CNN for facilitating anti-black hate speech. Shame on CNN for platforming an athlete to give violent threats against black people. And shame on the studio audience. And shame on Gayle King for laughing like it was funny. You know what I'm saying? But I want you guys to weigh in the comment section and let me know what you guys think. Before we get out of here, I want to shout out Miss Nisi with the $10 super chat. Definitely appreciate you, Miss Nisi. Please make sure y'all show Miss Nisi some love. Throw some radiation emoji, flames, ducks in the chat for Miss Nisi. Shout out to Hurricane IQ with the $1.99 super chat. Definitely appreciate you, Hurricane. And shout out to my man DSB with the 99-cent super chat. All right. Oh, real quick. And shout out to Black Free Thinker, almost with the buzzer beater. Almost with the buzzer beater, but that's better than anything Charles Barkley ever did. With the 6 months of membership support. Definitely appreciate it. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him, don't believe me, come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie, now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons, say she wanna come and see me. When I'm in a local city, I'm like, pause though, please step aside so they can see me. And I Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city, that's on my knee, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Nigga don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that fake. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him on God. Walk up in this like, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this like, hey, yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey, I'm really him. Hold up.